Hey, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. How are you? Come on in here, everyone. Welcome. Jody Marvin here, and I'm so excited about hosting this masterclass tonight. So for those of you that have registered, hopefully you were able to grab your workbook. If not, don't worry about it. And as you're rolling in here, let me just make sure that all of my technology is working. As you're rolling in here, say hello. Tell me that you're here. What area are you tuning in from this evening? I am in Central New York, from turning in from my home office here to deliver this amazing masterclass to all of you today. So again, as you come in, if you could do me a favor and tell me, If you are watching the live, give me a number 1. And if you are catching the replay, give me a number 2. All right. Excellent. It looks like all of my technology is working. So we are going to get right into this. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we are going to get rolling because we don't want to waste 1 minute of time tonight. All right, you guys, let me just share. All right. Fantastic. And you guys, if you have any questions in the meantime, I will be checking in the chats. All right. So you just let me know. All right. So again, welcome you guys to Automate and Grow. This is called Systems Every Virtual Assistant Needs. And I'm so glad that you are here. Now, whether you are just getting started as a virtual assistant or if you've been running your business for a while, then this masterclass is actually designed to help you work smarter and not harder, okay? Because we're talking all about systems tonight. So over about the next 45 minutes, I'm going to try to keep this under an hour this evening. I'll walk you through all the 7 essential systems that keep a virtual assistant business running super smoothly, plus all the tools and the workflows and all the things that you need to bring those systems to life. Does that sound good to you? All right. If that sounds good to you, give me some fire in the comments, you guys. Amazing. All right, just checking on my comments here in Facebook. All right, so let me see here. I want to make sure if you don't have your workbook, don't worry about it, but I am going to give you a quick link to the workbook. Let me see if I can. Actually, I can't grab that link right at this moment. However, if you check your email or you can check in the community, you should be able to grab your workbook. If not, just grab a notebook and a pen and you should be good to go. All right. But I did want to go over a couple things with you today because here's what you're going to be walking away with. The first is it's going to be a more clear picture of which systems that you already have in place and which ones that you may be missing. Okay. Because sometimes when we're missing those systems, it can really it can put a damper on our work, right? It gets us stressed out. We're doing things over and over, when they can actually be uh, automated. And it looks like somebody just registered. All right, awesome. So hopefully they're on their way in here. Okay, see, we can register for this event right even after it starts. Okay, so that's so amazing. So come on in here, you guys. Even if you just registered, pop right in here, and you're not too late. You can also just again, you don't have to have the workbook. I do have the workbook up on the screen, so it will be easy for you to follow along with that. All right, and let me see. Amazing. Let me just check my chats and make sure that we're not missing anybody here. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. All right. So the other thing that we're going to be coming away with today, that you guys are going to be coming away with today, is some practical tools to really simplify your day-to-day tasks. Okay. And they don't have to be fancy. They don't have to be expensive or anything like that. But it really is good to know what your options are. Also, you're going to be walking away with a customized Trello board example, which you can adapt to fit your own business. Okay, I built you a Trello board just to kind of something that you get started with, and you can actually make it your very, very own. And that is one of the bonuses. I'm going to give you the link to that at the very end. Okay. And then I'm going to give you a proven client onboarding workflow that saves you hours of time. All right. Who doesn't want time back in their day? So by the end of tonight, you are going to know the best step to bring more ease and more professionalism. And how about some more profitability into your VA business? Does that sound good? All right. And then I want you to make sure that you stick around because I do have a very special giveaway. I decided to do a really fun giveaway today. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek at my VA vault. All right. Which is my signature membership package. And it's filled with templates and workflows and coaching to help you to implement everything that we're covering today even faster. All right, let me just check and see how my peeps are doing here. All right, you guys. Amazing. All right, excellent, great. As you're rolling in here again, you guys, hello, hello, I see you. Awesome, amazing. Just tell me where you're tuning in from, and if you have any questions at all while we're going through any of this material, you just let me know, okay? And I will be pausing very, very soon throughout the workshop, and we'll get your questions answered, okay, guys? All right, amazing. Okay. So we're going to stick around to the end and don't worry about your workbook because I've got you covered here and I have the workbook right up on the screen. All right. So I just wanted to do another quick welcome. So before we dive in here today, I just want to say you know what, how proud I am of you for being here. Okay. Because whether you're brand new to the VA world or maybe you've been running a business for a while, showing up today means that you're ready to create more ease and more professionalism and some more freedom in the way that you work. All right. And all of that matters so, so much. And, I want you to know that I know how it feels to juggle client projects and admin tasks and all the marketing, all while trying to keep 17 different tabs open in your brain, right? And I also know that the game changing shift that happens when you finally have all of these systems that support you and instead of being stressed out. All right. And that is a big part of why I teach this. So, for those of you that don't know me, or if you're new to my page, my name is Jody Marvin. I've spent over 30 years in operations and administration, and I have lived the overwhelm of juggling too much at once. All right. I'm known for that. I used to be quite the multitasker, which, multitasking is a myth, right? But the turning point for me came when I started putting all the right systems in place in my business. And suddenly my business felt like it became lighter and easier and way more scalable. And that's exactly what we're here to do tonight. All right. We're going to help you create those shifts for yourself. So, wherever you're starting from today, I want you to hear me on this. You do not need to be a tech wizard. You do not need to have it all figured out. You just need the right steps, and you're going to be doing that right now. Okay. And I'm going to be walking with you every step of the way during this session. So, and I'm truly honored that you're here. So, thank you so much for being here. And you know what? We're going to be doing this together too. So, and one more thing, keep your eyes peeled because again, we're going to be giving a fun giveaway for you at the end. All right. Lots and lots of fun. All righty. So on page 3 of the workbook, just check for my people. All right. Yes, come on in here, guys. Even if you just registered, you're more than welcome to come in. Even if you didn't have a chance to grab the workbook, that is perfectly fine. All right. The workbook is up on the screen and you are good to go. And you can always grab the workbook later and you can watch the replay. This replay is going to be available. Okay. All right. So on page 3, and right before you, there's a VA systems snapshot. So we're going to take a quick pulse check of what your business looks like right now. Okay. So on this page that you see right here, you're going to see these are the 7 foundational systems that every virtual assistant business needs. And we're going to talk through all of these. Okay. And the first one is lead generation system. Okay. And this is basically how clients even can find you in the first place. All right. Is it referrals? Is it social media? Is it networking groups? Or are you kind of just hoping they'll magically show up? Now, and without a steady flow of leads, though, you don't have a business, right? You actually have a hobby. Okay. So we need to have those leads coming in. We have to have that lead generation system. The second one is intake and onboarding process. So basically, this is what happens when someone says, yes, I want to work with you, right? You've been talking to someone on the phone, a potential client, and finally, you realize it's the right fit and they decide, hey, I want to work together. So when they tell you that they want to work with you, you want to make sure that you have a smooth flow together, all their information, right? To send them the contract, because yes, you do need a contract to collect their payment so that you're not scrambling and copying and pasting old emails and, you know, just making yourself crazy. Okay. So having an intake and onboarding process is really, really important. That's one of the most important things to have. It could just make your life so much easier. The third one you'll see here on page 3 is a project management system. So where does the actual work live? Right? It has to live somewhere. We can't remember everything. It's just physically impossible. Is it in Trello? Is it in Asana? There's lots of other project management systems. There's something called ClickUp. There's Dubsado. There's a lot of different things. And if you're finding that your project management and your tasks are scattered across emails or sticky notes, or you're just kind of remembering them, they're in your memory, then this is an area where you're going to need to work on. All right, because having a system really keeps you and your clients sane. And I honestly would not be able to. I would not be able to function without my project management system. Hello, my friends. Hello. I see you watching, and you guys feel free to jump into the comments. Say hello. Tell me that you're here. Tell me where you're tuning in from. I'm tuning in from Central New York from my home office. If you just registered, because I just saw a couple people that registered at the last minute, like after the masterclass started, and that is great. I'm so happy that you're here, and you do not need the workbook, okay, right now. You can grab the workbook later, but I do have the workbook up here on the screen, all right, so you can follow along. All right, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. So the fourth system is client communication workflow. So basically, how do you talk with your clients every day, right? First of all, do you have office hours? Have you set up some boundaries, right? Do you want to get a text at 7 o'clock at night if you only work from 10 to 5, right? And do you have a central hub? Because if you're getting, like project requests from clients from via text and then via Slack and then maybe via email or whatever, or DM, right? That can be really, really inconsistent and it can drive you crazy because you're going to start losing all the requests. Okay. And hopefully you're not waking up in the morning to all these different pings on 5 different platforms. Right. And if you are, I see you. I've had that happen before to me. All right. So that's something that we want to establish, like at the front end. Okay. When we work with new clients. The fifth system is payment and invoicing. All right. So do your invoices go out automatically, or are you chasing clients every single month for your payment? I hope not. All right. Because having this system in place, some kind of system in place, means that you get paid faster and you're not wasting all this time following up with your clients. All right. Lots of different ways that you can do this, you guys. All right. But it's a very, very important system to have. Next up is delivery and follow-up systems. So how do you hand off work when it's done to your client? Okay. Are you emailing it to them? Are you putting it in your project management system, which is what I love to do? Project management system is like the number one place for me, because that's where you can collaborate. And also, do you circle back to ask for feedback? Are you asking for testimonials from your client? Or if it's a client that maybe you work with once in a while, are you asking for repeat business? Okay. This delivery and follow up is very important for all of those different aspects. The delivery, making sure that they get it efficiently, right? And not in 5 different places, and following up so that you can get those testimonials. Testimonials are so important to grab from your clients, you guys. All right. And this right here, this area is where you can really turn happy clients into long-term clients. All right. And it's definitely possible. I've been working with one of my clients for, let me see, in November, it's going to be, wait a minute, 12 years, the same client. And we have a project management system that we use together. And that's the way that we collaborate. And most of our collaboration happens inside of that project management system. I mean, a couple times here and there, like I'll get a text or I'll get an email or something, but the main form of communication is right there inside of that hub. Okay, right in the project management system. All right. So next up, and that's the last one on page 3, is your file organization and your asset management. So let me ask you this: can you actually find the stuff that you need when you need it, or are you spending 20 minutes digging out, looking for like this final? Really, this is the final document, right? Oh my gosh, I've had messes happen to me like that, like especially when you're doing like edits and things like that, and you have multiple versions of documents. Oh, it could just drive you really, really crazy. So it's really important that you have a system for your file organization and the asset management. Especially if you're working with multiple versions. And really, you just need a simple file structure that'll save you from that stress. Okay. And we're going to go over on the next page what some of these different systems and what tools you can use for these systems. Okay. All right. So while we're on this page still, go ahead and put a check mark next to the systems that you already have in place in your business. All right. We just went over the 7 systems. And just kind of maybe put like a star next to the ones that feel like your biggest pain points. All right. Are you struggling in that area? Maybe you don't even have it set up, right? And you don't even know where to start. Or maybe you have it in place, but it's just not working. It's kind of cluttered. It's messy. It's driving you nuts. Okay. If it's a pain point, just put a star right on that page. All right. And just remember that this page is not a test. So if you're looking at the page thinking, wow, I barely have any of these, right? It's okay. And you're in the right spot. And that's why you're here, right? So, okay. And I do want you to remember that every virtual assistant starts somewhere. And this page here it's not to judge you. It's here to help you just to see what's missing. Okay. Just so that you can fix it one step at a time. You don't have to fix all these all at once, right? We do these one step at a time. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to page 4. Okay, so now that you've seen the 7 big systems that every virtual assistant needs, let's talk about the tools that actually bring those systems to life. All right, so I want you to think of page 3 that we're just on as like the blueprint, and page 4 that we're on right now is kind of like the toolbox. Okay, and here's what's on the list, and this is why it matters. Okay, so number 1 is a CRM tool. So your CRM tool is kind of like your business hub, okay? It keeps track of your leads, your clients, your contracts, all of your automations, which are super important, and it keeps them in one place. And without a CRM system, you're probably juggling 5 to 6 or maybe even more different apps and getting lost. And things are getting lost in the shuffle, okay? Quick story. The client that I've been working with for 12 years, she had a CRM tool, but it wasn't like an all-in-one type tool. And she was really struggling, and her overhead expenses were going up so high. And we ended up doing an expense audit, and she didn't need half of those tools. She wasn't using half of the, actually, I'm going to say 75% of those tools. We were able to consolidate them into one tool, like Go High Level, and there's lots of different tools out there. But we don't want to be juggling 5 or 6 different tools, because not only is it going to drive us nuts, but it's going to be really, really super expensive. Okay. So CRM is on the top of the list for me. So next up is a client onboarding form or some kind of intake process. Okay. And this is basically just how you're going to collect the information that you need from your clients up front, like their contact details, right? You need to know how to contact them, right? Maybe what their goals are, and what their preferences are, like what their work styles are, what their brand voice is, right? Especially if you're going to be doing services for them like social media, or if you're going to be doing any kind of content writing. You need to know this information about your client, and you want to try to get that up front. So having an intake form that's like an automated process is so important. And I'm telling you why is because instead of emailing back and forth like 10 different times, which is going to drive you crazy, and which will probably drive the client crazy too, right? You just send them one form and boom, you're done. You collect all that information. All right. And then you thank yourself later. All right. So next up on page 4 is task management. Okay. So some kind of task management tool. And there's lots of different ones out there again, right? You may be using one now. And if you are using a task management tool, tell me in the comments, you guys, what are you using if you're using a task management tool? Okay. And when I'm talking about a task management tool, say that 3 times fast. I'm talking about Trello or Asana, or there's something called ClickUp. There's something called Monday. There's Dubsado. You guys, there's tons of them out there. I prefer Trello and Asana. I've been working with them for years. I've tested many different tools, but those are the main ones that I use. But these tools, the task management tool, no matter which one you're using, is where your actual client work is going to live. Okay. It's going to help you prioritize. It's going to help you to hit deadlines. It's going to keep projects from slipping through the cracks. You actually can avoid emailing back and forth, because if you choose the right tool, you can actually assign projects back and forth to yourself and your client. When an action item is needed to be done by a certain person. So if you're working on something with a client and you need them to give their feedback or to approve something, you can reassign it to them. It all lives in there. There's no emails. There's no texting. Okay. Task management is so important, you guys. All right. Next up is invoicing software. Okay. And again, there's lots of different tools there as well. So whether it's built into your CRM, which is kind of cool, right? It's really nice when it's built right into your CRM. Or it's something more like Wave or QuickBooks Online or PayPal. This type of tool really makes sure that you're sending your invoices on time. And more importantly, you're getting paid without chasing those clients down. Okay. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time to be chasing clients down. All right. So, invoicing is super important because that's how we make our living, right? We need to get paid. And it's so nice when it's automated too. Next up is email templates, or what I have here on page 4 is canned responses. Okay. Because these are going to save you from typing the same thing 27 times. So let's think about, we just talked about this, onboarding emails, right? Thank you for your payment. Here's your next step. Whatever that, whatever that response is, right? That you're finding yourself sending over and over and over. Okay. So all you have to do is just create a couple of reusable templates, and boom, you have instant professionalism. And you're taking you're taking some tasks off your plate, okay? Because you're adding automation to your business. All right. Next up is one of my favorites, and this is an appointment scheduler, so that you can forget again the back and forth, right? What time works for you? Oh, I can't do it at 2. Can you do it at 2:30? No, I can't do it at 2:30. Does 3 work for you, right? No. Heck no. So having a scheduler like Calendly, or there's a lot of different ones out there. And actually, my CRM tool has my calendar tool included in it. But this lets clients actually grab a spot on your calendar from like your calendar page, and it links to your actual real calendar, so that if you have time blocked out, it will not allow people to overbook. Okay, but it allows them to grab a spot on your calendar, and it syncs everything automatically, and it's just wonderful. It's just one of those wonderful automation tools that saves so much back and forth and so much time. And then the last one on page 4 is file storage. We're talking about Google Drive, Dropbox. There's OneDrive. All right. I think there's like iCloud too. And the point isn't which one that you use. It's having one, just like one place where all of your files live, right? And they're neatly organized so that you and potentially your clients, if you're sharing these documents with them, can actually find them when you need them. Okay. Because there's nothing worse when you're looking for a document and you can't find it. It's so frustrating. All right. So again, as you're looking at this page here, I want you to ask yourself, which tools feel smooth, and which ones feel supportive to me, right? And which ones make me want to throw my laptop out the window. Been there, done that. Have definitely want to do that a couple times. But whatever that answer is, really tells you where to start making some of your changes. Okay. And I want you to not overcomplicate this. So just pick one tool in each category, and really commit to using it well. All right. Because too many tools is just as bad as none. Right. Um, and just remember that also, when you're choosing your tools, that clunky tools equals a clunky business, and smooth tools equals a smooth business. That, I mean, it basically, it makes sense, right? So don't settle for tech that drains you. Okay. Really make sure that you're choosing the right tools. All right. Next up, we have page 5. All right. So let's pull everything together and see what this looks like in real life. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through a sample Trello board. And you guys, I actually created this Trello board just for this masterclass. It's a custom Trello board. I'm giving you actually the template. That's one of the bonuses for joining the masterclass. So in the workbook on this page, this is actually right here. That's actually a clickable link so that you can grab your Trello board. When you go and get it, you have to make a copy of it. And then you will take it from there, and you can customize it for yourself. Okay. But I want to show you, really wanted to show you what it looked like in real life. Okay. So I am going to walk you through a sample of a Trello board. And if you've never used Trello before, don't worry about it. Just think of it like kind of like digital sticky notes. All right. But you can move them around as your work changes, and you can like click on them. You can complete a task, and it's just amazing. All right. So, let's go ahead and talk about the backbone lists. Okay. So, and again, we're on page 5, and we're going to start right here with the weekly admin flow. And if you do have a chance to go grab your Trello board, I'm actually going to switch over. I'll switch over in just a second. Okay, guys. But I'm going to switch over to the real Trello board that I actually created for you guys to give you an idea of how cards move around and how you can create different lists. And it's just amazing. And you can actually invite people to your Trello space. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the weekly admin flow. So this is basically like your housekeeping list. Like things like in there can be like your invoicing, organizing your Google Drive, maybe even checking your emails, right? So because you definitely want a list so that you can actually go and look at your list. Like when you go to sit down in the morning, right? You first sit down at your desk and you're staring at your screen and you're like, okay, what do I do first? This is what the Trello board is for. Okay, guys. So, and yes, even the smallest things like organizing your Google Drive. You know what? Sometimes I forget to do these little things. Even like I'm telling you, even like for my VA business on Fridays in the mornings, I have a set time for me to go over my own personal my business finances, because if I don't do it, it slips through the cracks and it's months, and it just, I have to have like it's like a DMO, which is a daily method of operation, and this helps you start. And you can use Trello to look at your daily tasks. Okay. But even like checking emails, like if you only have a certain window that you want to check emails, so that you're not checking emails all day long, right? Because it's going to drive you crazy. So all of these are small tasks, but they are important tasks that keep your business running behind the scenes, right? And sometimes we just have to remind ourselves of what has to be done every day. Number two here, well, it's not numbered, but it's the client work tracker. Okay. Now, if your client doesn't have a project management system of their own, you can use a Trello board for your clients. Okay. It all depends on your scenario. I prefer that my clients have their own project management systems, but if they don't, I will bring them onto my project management system. So under the client work tracker, basically each client gets their own card here. Okay. So you can drop in their current projects, their notes, or their deadlines, and it keeps everything in one spot so you don't forget who needs what. All right. And I do want to try, let me see if I can share this tab with you real quick. Let me see. Can you guys see that? Let me just make sure that you can see what's going on here. Yes, you can see it. Awesome, you guys. So this is the Trello board, you guys. All right. So first of all, remember, we just talked about your weekly admin flow. See here, these are just the little tasks that you want to remind yourself every single week. And I mean, even if, maybe it's like creating new social media content, or it's posting a story on social media. I will forget, guys, right? I have a lot of things going on. This is where I like to put these things. And as you can see, these are just different lists. You can move, guys, these, sorry about that. You can actually move these cards. See these cards? These cards can be moved around. If it'll let me do it. Let me see. Maybe it's because, oh, you know what? I'm not even logged in. That's why. But let me see. I will do that for you in just a second, but let's just keep going here, okay? So the client work tracker, this is where you guys, this is where you're going to have everything about your client, okay? And then you can actually just create a new task for each client, or they can get their own card. This is an entire card right here, you guys, okay? And each client gets their own card. Then once your client has a new card, you can actually drop in their current projects, maybe some notes, maybe their deadlines, because it really does keep everything in one spot for each client, so that you don't forget who needs what. Because once you have a few clients in your portfolio, guys, it's going to get a little tough to remember everything. So it's going to be really important to have something like Trello, or like Asana, okay, or like Monday. All right, so I'm going to go back over to our workbook. Make sure that I'm sharing the workbook. Yes, I am. And we're going to go on to the next page. All right, so this is page 6 in the workbook, you guys, and now we're going to talk about leads and inquiries, okay? So leads are in inquiries, and if you, I just want to show you real quick. I'm going to switch back over to the Trello board in just a second, but look at here. So this is where you track incoming leads so nothing slips through the cracks, you guys, all right? Because if you're talking to people, right, if you're talking to potential clients, and let's say that you had 2 or 3 sales calls this week, right? And maybe you owe someone a proposal, or maybe you owe someone a follow-up email so that you can schedule your next call, or just continue the conversation. You really want to make sure that you are following up on those leads, all right? Because if not, they're going to slip through the cracks. They won't get their proposal. Maybe they ghosted you, and you need to follow up with them. But it's going to be really important. So let me just come right back over to the Trello board, and show you this is the leads and the inquiries that I created for you. Okay. Now you can move all of this around according to whatever works for you. Okay. But this is just your start. This is a template that I created for you. Okay. The same thing with brain dump. Okay. And park projects. You guys, if you have any different ideas, I have ideas for my business all the time. And if I don't write them down, they're going to be out the window, never to be seen again. So if you have a really, really good idea, go ahead and brain dump them right in here, just so that, when you have time and you have the time to sit down and focus, you can go back to that and say, okay, yes, that's what I want to do. Even systems to improve, maybe something that you want to add to your portfolio, right? Maybe you want to add a new service and you've been working on that service or that skill and you want to add that to your portfolio or to your website or whatever. Okay. And then goals or metrics. This is so, so important, guys. All right. This is where you track your numbers, like maybe how many discovery calls you booked this month, how much income came in. Okay. You could do that here. Or maybe how many posts that you published this week. Okay. And seeing your progress in one place is really super motivating. All right. But it's really, really great to have. And, you may outgrow Trello someday with the goals and metrics. You may say, you know what, I'd rather see that in a spreadsheet. But when you're first starting out, keeping it simple, look at how beautiful this board is and how simple it is and how easy you would find things. Okay. But just seeing your progress everywhere is amazing, guys. All right. So, and this is the fun part is that you get to customize this board right here. All right. Maybe you're going to want a list for recurring clients. Maybe you want like a content calendar. You can put a content calendar in here as well. Okay. Or maybe you just want a personal task list to keep your business life and your personal life balanced. All right. It's totally up to you. So you can take this Trello board and you can make it yours. All right. So I do want to say that when you're building your Trello board, keep it, start simple again. Don't build a complicated board and add only what you're actually going to use. All right. Because the rest is going to be cluttered, and a cluttered board, it equals a cluttered brain. All right. So let me just go back to our book, our workbook. All right. Amazing. I just want to check the chats in here. All right, guys. All right, you guys, how are you all doing out there? How are you doing so far? How are you feeling? All right. You know, some of this can be overwhelming. It can feel overwhelming if you're like a new VA, but I just want to assure you that if you just tackle these one thing at a time, guys, it's going to be a lot easier. All right. So if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, just remember, take that Trello board and just start with one thing at a time. All right. We're going to keep moving along here. All right, guys. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to talk about client onboarding workflow. This is on page 7 of the workbook, and this is where virtual assistants can really save probably the most time and make the biggest impression. All right, because and we did talk about this a little bit earlier, but we're going to dive into it a little bit deeper. So onboarding is simply how you bring a new client into your business. Okay, because there's things that you have to do. Okay, and I did add a simple outline of what a solid onboarding flow might look like. Okay, yours might look a little bit different than mine. Everybody's business is a little different. But let's say that you have a discovery call, right? This is your very first real conversation with a potential client. So kind of think of it like a first date, right? You're figuring out if you're a good fit. And honestly, the goal isn't to close the deal in 5 minutes. It's just really to understand what they need and see if you can help them. Okay, so that's number one. So that's number one in that workflow. Okay. So number 2 might be, okay, I sent a proposal, right? So if it was a good fit, right? And they said, yes, I want to work with you. So you send out a proposal that lays out everything that you're going to do, how much it's going to cost them, right? They're definitely going to want to know what the price is going to be and what the timeline is going to look like. Obviously it works. It depends on their projects, what they've got going on. And you should talk about that as well, right? But you don't really want to be too vague either, right? Like, now I'll help you with whatever you need. All right. This will help you to be really clear and specific so that everyone's on the same page, especially from the very beginning, because it can be really hard when your boundaries are crossed at a certain point, and then you have to kind of try to uncross them. It's a little bit harder. So doing all of this up front really, really doesn't make it easier on you. Okay. And then number 3, is contract and invoice. All right. So once they say yes, you definitely want to lock it in. Okay. You don't want to start any work until that contract is signed. Um, because a signed contract really protects you. It protects the client, and the invoice gets the money conversation squared away right away. Okay. So that you want to get paid up front, right? Hopefully you're getting paid up front. I mean, everybody does things differently, but it really gets that all locked into place. And, but that's my pro tip, is to always get the contract and the first payment before you start working. Okay. It's going to save you lots of headaches. All right, guys. And then number 4 is the welcome packet. So this is basically this is kind of like your chance to shine. Okay. And it could be as simple as like a PDF or maybe a Google Doc, but it really does set the tone for your client. And it might include your office hours, your communication preferences. Okay. Cause those are really, really important too. I mean, do you want to get a text and an email and a DM and communicating in a Slack channel or something like that? Right. Yeah, really telling them what your communication preferences and what theirs are as well. Right. So that it all gels together. And clients really do love this because it makes you look like a pro. Okay. And then number 5 is your kickoff call. So basically a kickoff call, and this could be in a form of an email, but I do like to do face-to-face on like a Zoom call with my clients. But a short meeting to, make sure that you're aligned before you start diving into their work. You can cover the scope of their work again, right? Set some expectations, which is really important. And you can actually answer any last minute questions, or you can ask any last minute questions to your client. Okay. So kind of think of this as like a project launch party for your client. Okay. And now here's here's the magic. So most of this stuff that we're talking about right now, all can be automated. Isn't that cool? It's like, so if this is looking overwhelming, it's like, oh my gosh, I have to do all this stuff. You do, but a lot of this can be automated. Okay. Obviously you can't automate a call. You have to be on the call with them, right? But there's other things that you can do around that to automate this entire process. Okay. So let's imagine this system. Okay. So a client books a call, all right, on your calendar page. You didn't have to, go back and forth on your calendar. They automatically get a confirmation email. Okay. Makes you look great. They say yes to your system. The system automatically sends them a proposal and a contract and an invoice. It's not something that you had to do 3 different times. Okay. Once they pay, you can set up an automation where your welcome packet goes out instantly. All right. And now imagine this manually. That's hours of manual work gone, you guys. And you get to show up to your client looking polished and professional, and actually without really lifting a finger. I mean, you're lifting a finger up front, right? Because you're setting this all up. There's a little bit of work to do to get the workflow set up. But once it's set up, it's like, oh my gosh, it feels like I'm waving a wand. All right. So I want you to remember that even automating just 1 or 2 of these steps can really save you tons of time. So if you're not automated here, don't worry about it. Just start small, and then you can layer on more automation as you grow. Okay. And again, onboarding really does set the tone for the entire relationship, because a smooth start really does equal a happy client who sticks around longer. And you know what, guys, it is easier to keep a client than it is to go out and find a new one. All right. So, if you're looking for those long-term client relationships, then your onboarding is super important. But isn't that workflow cool? Isn't it cool how you can see where you can set up all these different, they're different separate tasks, but you can, you put them into one workflow and you can automate them. All right. Doesn't it feel lighter already? Okay. Next up is page number 8. All right. So now that you've seen the snapshot and you walked through the tools, let's just pause and take a look at any gaps that you may have in your business. Okay. And here's how I want you to use page 8. So I want you to either circle or highlight, or you can fill in the stars, whatever you want to do, that feel the weakest right now to you. Okay. And maybe put a star next to the one that would make the biggest difference if you fixed it. Okay. So you can fill in the stars to the left and kind of rate yourself. But if it's a really, really, really weak, I want you to circle it. And if it's something that would make a really, really big impact or a big difference in your business, if you fixed it, put a star there. Okay. And I want you to think about it this way. If you're drowning in client emails, your client communication workflow might be your gap. Okay. All right. Just think about that. Maybe if you're chasing down late payments every single month, your payment and your invoicing is your gap. You see what I'm saying? So that's how we're going to determine where you need to fill in those gaps. Okay. Let's say you're always behind on deadlines. It's probably your project management. Okay. And the goal, you guys, isn't to fix everything at once, because that's a recipe for burnout. All right. And it's just not possible. It's not possible to fix everything at once. So the goal is to identify your very first domino, and basically, which is the one system that if you fixed it, it would make everything else easier to fix. Okay. Or it would make your life easier. It would make everything else easier if you started with that one. Okay. So don't skip this test, or this step here. Okay. This self assessment, because awareness is really half the battle. Okay. All right. And I do want you to remember that your biggest gap is your biggest growth opportunity. Okay. So if you have any gaps in your business, it's really good to be aware and to fix them one at a time, so that you can continue to grow. All right. So circle it, own it, and commit to changing it today. All right, guys. Okay. And we're going to keep it going here. All right. So here is where we're going to get laser focused. Okay. So I want you to take the system that you starred or circled or whatever. Yes, that you start on page 8. Okay. We are on page 9 now. And I want you to write it down here, because this is your next best step. So not 10 steps, not a whole business overhaul. Okay. Just one thing to tackle next. For example, if you circled file organization, your next best step might be to create a shared Google Drive folder for each client. Okay. If you circled lead generation, say that you're struggling there, your next best step might be post about my services twice a week on LinkedIn. Okay. That's just an example. If you circled onboarding, your next best step might be draft a simple welcome packet. Okay. Just one little step. All right. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. That's it. Okay. And I do want you to remember too that small, consistent improvements definitely compound over time. And a 1% better system today, just 1%, is a 100% smoother business a few months from now. Okay. So even just small percentages of these steps that you're taking of improvement. Okay. And you don't need to fix everything. Just remember that. Because, I'm kind of like that sometimes. Like I just want to fix everything at once, right? I just want it all done now. But you have to be patient. You just have to focus on your next right step, and remember that progress beats perfection every single time. Okay. All right. So that is your homework. All right. So by now, you guys, you've probably circled a few gaps and written down your next best step, and that is amazing. But I do know how overwhelming it can feel to build all of this from scratch on your own. Okay. Because I've been there, done that. I've been in business for a long, long time. And I've been able to fill in my gaps. All right. And, I have systems in place for my clients, for my own business. And now I want to share them with you. And that's exactly why I created the virtual assistant vault. It's the VA vault. And it's basically the place where everything that we've talked about today all comes together, and where you'll have tools and templates and support to actually implement all of this quickly. Okay. So I just want to talk to you about what's inside the VA vault, guys, because I've really been talking about this a lot to all of my the folks in my community. But what you'll find inside of there is my CRM Kickstart course, which is a brand new course. It's my signature course to help you set up your onboarding and automations without tech overwhelm. And that actually is included in the vault. I normally sell that separately, but that's included in the vault. There's also done for you templates and workflows and contracts and proposals. I have welcome packets. I have client documents and more, and I'm adding to it all the time. Okay. I also have monthly coaching and a Q&A every single month on Zoom during real time, by the way. It's real-time support where we see each other face to face, so that you can ask questions and so that you're never stuck spinning your wheels. Okay. Also, I have a community of virtual assistants, because growing your business is way more fun and it's faster when you're not doing it alone. So right now, I actually have a special founding member price available, and that's going to be until August 27th, so a week from today. And that means you can lock in the lowest rate and get access to everything the vault will continue to grow into. All right. So exciting. And I want you to imagine this. So instead of piecing systems together by trial and error, you open the vault, right? And you grab the template that you need and you move on with your day. And that's how you scale without burning out. So I just wanted to reiterate that don't try to build it all alone, okay? Because the vault is your shortcut to a smoother and more profitable VA business. All right, my friends. Okay. So I just want to say thank you so much. I really don't want to go over an hour, guys, because I know that your time is very valuable. I just have a couple other things that I want to do. We have a giveaway. We have the bonuses that I want to give to you. But thank you so much for joining me. And you know what? You did it. You showed up. You took notes. And you now have a clear picture of the systems that will make your virtual assistant business run smoother, faster, and with way less stress. And you know what? That deserves a round of applause. All right, but before we wrap up, I've got some important things for you. So your Trello board, you guys, you can find your Trello board inside of the workbook. If you need anything, if you need the Trello board, and I'll actually after I stop sharing my screen, I will go ahead and post the link to the Trello board in the comments. Okay. Also, another bonus that I included in today's masterclass is a VA systems checklist. That is also inside of your workbook. I will post a link to that as well. And we're also going to do the giveaway. All right. So if you're here today, I do need you to comment. So anyone who comments the word giveaway, all right, the first person to comment the word giveaway is going to be the winner. You're going to win. And again, I am giving away 1 full year free access to the VA Vault, which is a $270 value. All right. And you get all of the things that we just talked about. You get hand holding, you get one-on-one coaching, you get templates, contracts, you get courses that I normally sell separately are all included in the Vault. Okay. So, all right. So what is your next step? So today we uncovered which systems you already have, right? Where your biggest gaps are. Let me just check, guys. I feel like I'm not seeing the comments. I am not seeing the comments. Hold on 1 second. Let me just check in another area here. Make sure. Sometimes you can't see the comments. Oh my goodness. Oh, yay. Okay. The comments were not showing up for me. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Very good. Oh, Tani. Oh, awesome. Tani. Awesome. Tani, you were the first one. Thank you for the fire. Originally downloaded Asana. I'm sorry I did not see your comments. I don't know why Facebook did that to me, but you originally downloaded Asana, but just download Trello and exploring that now. Awesome. And Tani, one thing I wanted to mention to you is that I feel like Trello is really good for smaller teams. And I think Asana is great for bigger teams. Like one of my clients, we use Asana because we at one time had a bigger team, and her team is actually kind of downsized a little bit, and we don't use it as much or as we used to when it was a much bigger team. Okay, so Trello is easier, it's more visual, so it's a great start, and I think they have like a free version there. So Tani, you are the winner of the VA Vault, so I'm going to be sending you over. Actually, we're already friends here, so I can and I have your email address because you're on my email list. So Tani, what's going to happen is on the back end, I'm going to go ahead and add you to the VA Vault, and you're going to have access for a full year. Okay. So congratulations. I'm so excited. I'm so glad that I checked the comments here. Yay. I'm so excited. Yes. I like the layout better from Trello because it does seem simpler. There are some features in Trello that you can pay for. You don't have to, but that do make it a little bit better. Like you can add little checklists inside your cards. You can assign things back and forth, which I love. But again, starting simply and just like with the free version is perfect. So you are so welcome. Thank you. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so excited for you. And there's some changes coming to the vault as well, Tani. I'm so excited. There are actually some changes coming. I'm doing a rebrand starting in September. So there are amazing automation things coming in the vault, and you're going to have that for an entire year. So I'm excited. And CRM Kickstart is in there. There's contracts and checklists, and I'm adding stuff there all the time. So congratulations, and I'm so excited for you. Amazing. All right, you guys. So also, again, we talked today about which systems you already have, where your biggest gaps are, where your next best step is. So, and now you have a choice. All right, you can try to piece it together, or you can shortcut the process inside the VA vault. Okay, and our friend Tawny is going to be in the vault, so it's going to be amazing. And again, I have signature trainings in there, and I have ready to use templates and workflows. And actually, the VA Vault launched not too long ago, so I'm adding new things all the time. You also in the VA Vault, I have monthly coaching, coaching every the last Wednesday of the month. We do an accountability call where we talk about our goals. And it's amazing, guys. If you haven't been there, if you haven't been to one of the accountability calls yet, you leave there so pumped up and you're ready. You're really, really, really ready to work on your goals. And it's just amazing. And even I feel that way. And I'm the one conducting the call. So we also do monthly coaching calls every first Wednesday of the month. Okay. We have a community of virtual assistants inside of there who get it. And the VA Vault is basically, it's like an all-in-one support system for building a business that doesn't just pay your bills, but it gives you freedom too, right? Because I'm kind of in my business. Yes, the money's great because I need to make money to have a business, but the freedom for me is what I love. All right. So I'm so proud of you all for being here. You've already taken the most important step, just showing up for yourself and your business. So now I want you to go and put that step into action. All right. Grab that whatever you wrote down on the last page that you're committing to, and just remember that small, consistent changes lead to big results. All right. You are so welcome. You are awesome. Thank you. I am so excited for you, Tawny. Yeah, and as soon as you're in the VA vault, you are going to see some things changing in there. There's going to be different types of content. I mean, so that you can take your virtual assistant business to the next level with automation. And there's going to be different certifications. Yeah, there's just a lot of really cool things coming in there. So I'm very, very excited for you. And yeah, I can't wait to see where it takes you as well. And Tawny, also, if you have any questions inside of that community, it's kind of like it's the off social, that like the hub, like the free community. It looks just like that, except it's private and it's only for VA Vault members. Okay, so we're a small and mighty group, but I like that. I like that because especially when we do our Q&A calls, when we do our accountability calls, you get more one-on-one time. Okay, and we can actually talk about your business and brainstorm like your business. Okay, because if I had like 100 people on the calls, and it would be harder to do that. So we're small and mighty, and but we're making things happen. All right. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm going to, let me see. Okay, that's awesome. So I did this in about under an hour, which is very, very cool because that was my goal. My goal was to make this masterclass under an hour, to make it easy for you, to show you the systems, to give you the Trello board so that you can take it and run with it. Okay. So, but what I do want to say before we log off here is that don't just close your workbook and walk away. Okay. Just pick one thing from today and take action on it. All right. Because, the momentum builds when you move. All right. And I think that is it for today, you guys. Thank you again so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. And I'm so excited to see what all of you are going to do in your businesses. All right. And if you have any questions about this, let me see. Okay. Amazing. Yes. So the workbook, guys, actually, let me do this real quick because I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to go grab the workbook for you. Now, the workbook would have been in the email. Okay. And awesome. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'll grab that for you right now. Absolutely. All right. So I'm going to go right here, guys. Give me 1 second, guys. If you want to stick around just for a second, I'm going to grab that workbook for you. Okay. So that, you have that at your fingertips. That's going to be Okay, the workbook. And actually, workbook is here. And then I'm going to go ahead and give you the Trello board, the link to the Trello board, which is in the workbook, by the way. And your workbook should have been emailed to you guys. And if it wasn't, I apologize for that. I'm going to give you your Trello board, and I'm going to give you, there's your Trello board, and there's your systems, your VA systems checklist as well, guys. That was another bonus, okay? You are so welcome. Thank you. Thank you. You guys, thanks a lot. And I really appreciate you being here. And again, if you have any questions whatsoever, just reach out to me, especially in the community. I usually answer my chats within like 24 hours. But yeah, I'm here to help you, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see what you're going to do with your business and setting your systems in place so that you can get some more time back in your day. All right. Okay. Have a great evening. Thanks again for joining. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.